Thank you for joining me on this Wednesday. It is Woke Wednesday. And so today's topic is emulate. So the definition of emulate is to surpass or match, to match or surpass. I should say that the other way, to match or surpass. Now, generally speaking, with this definition, it's talking about matching or surpassing either a person or an achievement. And usually emulating means you've done so by imitating that person. So they say that the highest form of flattery is imitation, right? So emulate. So a couple of different points I want to make on this with regards to emulating. So the first thing is don't hate, emulate. So I know you've heard the saying, don't hate, participate, but let's look at it a different way. You might see something that someone has, whether that's something that is tangible, like, oh, they have a car, they have, that I want, they have a house that I want. It might be something like the relationship, the type of relationships that they have, and you like that. You might see something that somebody else has. And it's very normal for a lot of people when they see something that someone else has to almost, so the hate term, so to hate on it and be like, oh, well, that person has had everything handed to them. They're spoiled. They always get everything they want. That's one option, is to hate on them, right? Or you might make excuses like, oh, well, that can never happen for me. I didn't grow up the same way. I don't have the same education as them. I don't have the same opportunities as them. But rather than hating or making excuses, let's start looking at the idea of emulating. So if you want to match or surpass what that person has, whatever they've achieved, whatever that might look like, why not emulate? So when we talk about emulating, that means you're going out and you're learning. What is it that they do? If they can afford that car and I want that kind of car, what is it that that person does? Or how do they do it? Maybe they actually have the job that I want. So rather than just sitting back and going, well, I don't have the same connections as them, why not reach out to them or someone else and start to learn? How can I do that? How can I imitate what they're doing? A lot of times when we see people who have found success, it's not necessarily that they've created a whole brand new thing. A lot of times they're following someone else's model. They're doing what someone else has already used, maybe on a different platform, but they're following someone else's model. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about with emulating. The other thing that I wanted to talk about with emulating, and this is a little bit on a side note, is more of, don't expect something from someone that you are not willing to do yourself. So when I say match or surpass, in this sense, I'm almost going to reverse it on you. So if you want someone to match or surpass you in whatever that might be, I'll give some examples, then you have to be that model. You have to do those same things. So you might have heard people say before, if you want respect, you've got to give respect, right? If you want open communication from people, hi, Anthony, if you want open communication from people, you have to be the person that sets that standard, right? So again, on the emulate definition, now we're actually flipping that and we're saying, hey, if you expect these things of someone else, be the model so that they're actually emulating you, so that they're looking at it and they're going, hey, I like how she's very open and transparent. So now I feel like I can communicate more openly and transparently. I like that this person, gives respect to other people. So I'm going to match that respect that she shows other people. We see a lot of situations nowadays where people expect something without necessarily giving that same thing. And that could be even as simple as, hey, I want CEO pay and I have a high school diploma or something like that. Not saying it can't be achieved, because we've seen some situations where it happens. But those people who have achieved that, it's because they've put in extreme amounts of effort and work. Usually they've found something, whether it's something somebody else has already done, but they've actually worked to match or surpass, right? They've worked to emulate something or someone else. So that's just what I wanted to talk to you guys about today with emulate. I really like that word. It jumps out in my head a lot of times. And I'm real big on, it's very natural for us guys to look at things that other people have and go, I want that, right? That's not a bad thing. It's not necessarily envy when you're just saying, I want that. If you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to learn and say, how did they do it? How can I do it? Right? It's not envy at that point. It's not hate if you're not going to downplay them in order to make yourself feel better. So don't make excuses. Don't hate. Emulate. So I'm going to head on out, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, Anthony. Yes, reciprocity goes a long way. So true. Hi, Stacy. So I'm going to head out and drive in this fun snow. If you didn't catch the very beginning, watch it back because we're having crazy amounts of snow and I get to drive to a basketball game now. For any of you wondering, yes, yesterday I sprained my ankle walking down the bleacher stairs. That's all. I was walking down the bleacher stairs. I wish I had a better story. When people are like, oh my God, what happened? I'm like, I wish I could say like, look, I got into it with one of the other parents, or something like that. One of my friends, actually, when I told her I sprained my ankle, she was like, were you out there trying to play with the girls? And I'm like, girl, you know, I cannot play basketball. My daughter definitely got that from her daddy. Not from me. So yeah. So thank you, Anthony. I will drive safe. I will drive slow. I don't care. People can pass me. I'll go 5 miles an hour if I have to. But anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight, and happy Wednesday. Happy Woke Wednesday. We're on the lower half of the week now. And as always, dream big and live bigger. Bye, guys.